Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about how these BBLs are killing y'all. I want to lie and say that they not, but they 150% are killing y'all. Yeah, not just BBLs though. This video is not going to be about BBLs. It's going to be about all the trendy new procedures. Everybody's getting a nose job now. All the lip fillers, the buccal fat removal, literally fillers, Botox, you name it, we talking about it. Just plastic surgery in general, and then the boom and the rise of plastic surgery in recent years. To start with, we're going to talk about the boom of plastic surgery in recent years. So to start, just to dive deep, you gotta go into the bigger picture first. Women's bodies have always been in and out of trends. I discussed this a little bit in my video about feminine personalities being in and out of trends, but women's bodies have always been in and out. So you saw 2016 thick baddie, like the BBL body. In the 2000s you had the model type, super thin, super slim. In the 90s you had something very similar, and then you keep on going back and the body kind of just changed as time goes on. So before body type was trendy, or when a facial feature was trendy, whether it's a cupid's bow or a smaller nose or whatever, you had makeup, clothes, hair, and different styles to tweak and adjust your look to fit in with the trends. Most of these changes were very temporary. Hair dye, makeup, or whatever you used, they're very temporary and they were very reversible. So then in the next 5 years, when there's a new trend or a new whatever feature trending, you could switch your makeup to fit that trend. In recent years, with the advancement and the very wide scale accessibility of plastic surgery, you see a lot more of a demand for much more permanent and drastic changes. So instead of overlining my lips, why don't I just get lip fillers and just get my lips bigger? If button noses are trendy and I don't like the bump in my nose, why don't I get a rhinoplasty and get that bump is going skedaddle? So it's leading to much more permanent, long-term, and much more invasive procedures. One of the biggest issues with this is, along with new age technology and of course our favorite social media, these plastic surgeries are being advertised to a much wider range of audience than ever before. So while plastic surgeries were once something that wealthier, older women did, for example, a lot of women got boob jobs after having children. A lot of women got Botox and filler after they age a little bit, in their 50s, 40s, whatever age they're ready to get it. Because of social media and new trends, not just trends, but new advertisement of trends, the age where people are starting to get different procedures like the nose jobs, lip fillers, boob jobs, BBLs, all of it is becoming younger and younger because a lot of the people on social media are young adults. So you have a lot of people getting filler as a preventative measure, or people who have seen these surgeries since they were just a teenager finally getting it as soon as they get their hands on just a bit of cash. An example of this was a young girl where her mom signed off on her getting a BBL. And if you don't know what a BBL is, it's a Brazilian butt lift, and it's pretty much where they take the fat from your stomach, put it in your butt. But it's basically like a fat transfer. This is an extremely invasive surgery, and it is known to be one of the most invasive and fatal plastic surgeries because it's so invasive. It's a lot of different steps. The fact that this 17-year-old was able to have her mom, to convince her mom to sign off on this procedure is very frightening. And of course, the blame needs to be put on the parent in this scenario to kind of take responsibility and be like, no, I'm not signing off on that. But also you have to consider, how bad could this girl's insecurities have been, where at an age where she's still very much so underdeveloped, because people don't finish developing at 17, but at an age where she was very much so underdeveloped, she turned to very permanent procedure instead of other methods of fulfilling whatever beauty standard she was trying to reach. Aside from the younger and younger age of plastic surgeries, another thing is that most people who are getting these plastic surgeries are getting it to reach a certain beauty standard. You're starting to see people kind of morph into a certain type of look. This is really odd to witness. A little frightening how similar everybody's looking. That's what I'll say, because I think there's a certain beauty of people all looking different, and everybody having, as cliche as it is, everybody having their own beauty that they fulfill and all that stuff, and then seeing it disappear amongst the masses is kind of sad to witness. The biggest question is, everybody's looking the same, people are getting these permanent surgeries younger and younger to fulfill these trends. What happens when it's not trendy anymore? So when having a big behind is not trendy anymore, when having big lips is not trendy anymore, what does that mean for people who paid thousands of dollars to change their features to look like this? And the thing about it is, if those people got those surgeries for the sake of fulfilling those trends, what's probably going to happen is they're going to get surgeries to reverse them. So a big thing that you're seeing is fillers dissolved, a lot of implants removed. Now that something else is trendy, they're flipping it so that they can look like what's trendy now. And this is just going to be another invasive surgery. Like, I think people forget, like, plastic surgery, the second word is surgery. Like, you know, surgeries are not, oh, y'all could just pick up this fat movie here. It's a very invasive procedure. You have to sign a waiver. It's just so much risk involved in it that I think a lot of people forget. Is it genuinely worth it for you to reach this end goal, for you to risk all this other stuff that I don't think enough people emphasize? And I think the recovery is ridiculous. Imagine going through like 9 months of recovery for this extremely invasive surgery, and then once you come out of surgery, that body type is not trendy anymore. What are you gonna do? You can't put the fat back. Like, it's just, I think a lot of people like don't think about that. And then also, like, particularly if you're not addressing that main insecurity, you're just going to spend your whole life chasing trends. And while chasing trends is of course terrible for personalities and clothes, not necessarily terrible, but like it can be hazardous if you're constantly just chasing what's trendy and what's popular. Chasing personalities for your physical look and putting your like health at risk for it is even more dangerous and hazardous, because you're putting your life on the line. Another thing is, like, even if you do get those reversing procedures, you're never gonna look the way that you used to. You're never gonna get that 100% you look ever again. So this isn't necessarily to, like, for people who are grown, this isn't to like necessarily shame them for making decisions that they've thought about for a long time. This is more so a reminder that this isn't something that you can just like decide overnight and wake up one morning and be like, well, I think that's what I'm gonna do, because it's expensive, it's dangerous, it's a big deal, it's a big procedure, and it's not reversible the way that people will have you think. The next thing I want to talk about is being natural does not make you better. As much as I'm not the biggest fan of plastic surgery, I'm also not the biggest fan of people thinking that they are superior because they have a BBL shape, an hourglass Coke bottle shape naturally, and that doesn't make you a better person. Like, you are not superior from somebody who got the surgery just because you didn't need to get the surgery. A lot of those people who naturally fit that is genetics, right? You genetically, your bone structure, the way that your fat just sits on your body made it so that your body type right now is trendy. So you just lucked out that, like, at this point of your life, the beauty standards in which you look like aligned. That doesn't make you better than somebody who was not as lucky as you were. I also don't think that you having naturally good features or naturally attractive features means that you accomplish anything, because you actually didn't do anything to get those features, right? So, like, let's say for example, when like being light skinned was popular, you didn't do anything to be light skinned. You are just light skinned. That's not something that you accomplished. It's not really something for you to flex about or like to brag about, like, oh, I'm light skinned, I did that, I ate that, I'm light skinned, I'm pretty, whatever. Who made you light skinned? You were born light skinned. You didn't make yourself light skinned. So it's not really something to like show off, or like being very naturally skinny. That's not really something that like oh my gosh, I'm so slim, You were born with a faster metabolism than other people. That doesn't make you a better person because you don't have to work out or diet as often to accomplish your weight. It's just how you were born. You didn't really do anything. You really are just lucky. So like, what's the point of flexing over something that you lucked out about? So just to conclude and wrap it all up, the real bare honest truth, I've said this many times, but basically this is the conclusion of literally every single video, is that I support adults doing what adults want to do. If it's not hurting you, if it's not hurting other people, and it makes you happy, I truly believe that you should be able to participate, carry out whatever you want. I have never really had a debilitating insecurity that was constantly on my mind every hour of every day, constantly making me think about like how I look. So I can't speak to how it feels to have that experience of looking in the mirror and hating what I see, or hating a very specific feature. So I can't speak to that. So I'm not going to judge people who go out and get a nose job because every single day of their childhood they got bullied for having an ugly nose, right? I'm not criticizing that. I think plastic surgery can be very helpful for reconstruction, for people who've had like a very long-term insecurity, something that like makes it very difficult for them to find themselves attractive in any way. I definitely do think that it can be helpful for that type of stuff. However, right? I would be lying if I didn't mention and if I didn't highlight that there's been a very big and unnecessary push for everybody to get something done. Like, there's no reason why Botox and filler should be advertised as something that everybody should try, everybody should experience to prevent things that like aging that's inevitable, right? Like, you can't run away from that. And I think there are certain things that should be considered okay to have. Same thing with stuff like liposuction. Like, you shouldn't feel obligated to not have any fat on your body. Same thing with BBLs. You shouldn't feel obligated to have a certain body shape, otherwise you're not pretty. That's the type of plastic surgery that I think needs to be more closely evaluated and criticized. Not that nobody should ever be able to have it, but there definitely should be a much further evaluation before people are able to actually partake in it. Aim for being happy and aim for being joyful. Like I said previously, like getting certain procedures done because it's been a long-term insecurity. I get it. I can only understand like the type of relief you would feel after finally finding a solution to a problem that you've had for so long. But I do think that like the way that you reach that should not be a deterrent to your health, a hazard to your well-being. I think people who are like pushing it to the extreme, being very excessive, that's the type of thing that I really do think that people should more heavily evaluate and really consider. So basically just thinking about the why behind it. Why do you want to get that procedure, and then just going from there. But yeah, that is a bit of a heavy ending to the video. I think maybe not too heavy, but that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to include your thoughts in the comments. I've never said that before, and if you don't want to, then don't do it. Pretend I never said it. Ignore this part of the video. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.